I'd like to get started. If you could take your seats, please. Kenny. All right, welcome to the March community meeting for the 2nd Precinct. Most of you look familiar to me, but if you haven't been to one before, I'm Kevin Williams. I'm the commanding officer, inspector of the 2nd Precinct. I appreciate you all coming today. We'll go over some crime statistics, and I'll talk about some crimes that occurred in the precinct. And then at the end, if you could save most of your questions for the end, that would be great. Do we have anybody from the town council? I thought somebody said somebody was here. But yes, so we have some elected official representatives. Thank you for coming today. I appreciate it. Legislators here? Any county legislators? No? Okay. Okay. Oh yeah, okay. No problem. Okay. All right. Oh, okay, thanks, okay. So reps from Legislator Donnelly and Bontempi's office are here. If something's relevant, you could maybe ask them a question also at the end. So we have a new deputy inspector. Hold on, I got a slide for him. New deputy inspector in the precinct, Tom Holt, okay? Newly promoted.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
We're happy to have him in the 2nd. He's had quite a distinguished career. And, you know, obviously Joe was great, but Joe was moved on over to Marine Bureau, which he had worked in years ago. And he had a pretty big smile on his face on the way out the door. So as much as we'll miss Joe, we're happy to have Tom. He's going to get up and talk a little about himself real quick so you can get just a little bit of background. So.
Good morning, everybody. As the inspector said, good morning. Very happy to be here. As the inspector said, I'm Deputy Inspector Tom Holt, newly promoted to the 2nd Precinct. Very happy to be here. I just wanted to let you know a little about myself. I started with the department in 1993. I was assigned to the 5th Precinct as a police officer and a sergeant for many years. I spent some time in warrant enforcement section, approximately 5 years. I went back to the 5th Precinct and served as a crime section sergeant and gang sergeant there for many years. I was promoted to lieutenant in 2021. I went to internal affairs. Spent the last 4 years in internal affairs. Was fortunate enough to make captain, and now get promoted to deputy inspector and come to the 2nd Precinct. I'm very happy to be here. Everyone raves about the 2nd Precinct, the people here, the community groups, the inspector, of course, everyone raves about. So I'm very happy to be here. And Captain Martinez is a friend of mine. We've worked together for about 15, 20 years. So this is a very good situation for me. I look forward to the opportunity. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Okay, so as we do at all the meetings, I'll bring up some of the officers just to come on up and introduce themselves and tell the community, you know, where you work, what you do. Thanks.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Officer Elizabeth Dowdy, 2nd Precinct Coach.
Morning, I'm Officer Rob James, one of the 2nd Precinct SROs. Morning, Sergeant Mike Casey, 2nd Precinct Community Support Unit. Good morning, Sergeant Michael Lewis, 2nd Precinct Control.
Officer Tim Drake. I work everywhere.
Good morning, Officer Brittany Sierra Otero, one of the 2nd Precinct SROs.
Good morning, I'm Police Officer Jamie Wassenhoff, and I'm 2nd Precinct Code.
All right, thank you. All right, so we'll get into some of the crime numbers. Take a look at the index crimes year to date. Okay, so no homicides, very good. Robberies in 24, we had 4. In 2025, we had just 3 right now, down a little bit. Assaults, 14 in 2024. We're also down in assaults, only 12 this year, down slightly. Residential burglaries, last year we had 5 at this time, and this year we have 3, so we're also down again. Commercial burglaries, 5 in 24, and this year just 2, so that's a decent number down. Larcenies, 219 in last year, and this year 191, down again. And then vehicle thefts, we're up 1. So all in all, negative numbers is good for us and for me, and it reflects on all the hard work that the officers are doing, so that's a good thing for the community. That's year-to-date, and now we'll do the monthly. We'll compare January last month and February. So again, no homicides, good there. We had 1 robbery in January, we had 2 in February, slightly up. Assaults in January, we had 7, and we have 5 last month, so a little bit down there. Residential burglaries, 2 in January, we didn't have any in February, so that's good. Commercial burglaries, we had 1 in January, we had 2 in February, slightly up. Larcenies, we had 92 in January and 96 in February, so up again a little bit. And vehicle theft, that was where we were up. We had 6 in February as opposed to 4 in January. So a little bit up for the month of February, but year-to-date, it looks a little bit better. So we'll just keep monitoring everything and keep a close eye on things. Okay, this is a robbery that happened in Green Lawn on Tuesday, the 18th, about 7:52 p.m. The complainant went inside the deli to purchase some drink and food, and when he went back outside to his car, he was approached by a suspect described as a black male, dressed in a dark hoodie and wearing a face mask. The suspect asked the complainant for some spare change, and the guy was generous enough to give him $5. Apparently that wasn't enough. The suspect then demanded the victim's wallet. He wanted all the money. And when he refused to comply, the suspect pulled out a sharp object and stabbed him in the chest. And he took his wallet, all his money. The victim also suffered cuts to his hands as he was trying to defend himself from the attack. And the suspect fled westbound on foot down Rockney Street. The victim was transported to Southside Hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Second squad detectives are investigating. I think it was a razor knife, so we kind of slashed him in the chest. It says stab, but so it wasn't a very deep wound, so luckily the gentleman was okay. But he was generous enough to offer $5 to this guy, and I don't know what's going on there. So the detectives are looking into this one. This is one I'd like to see solved. This is pretty a heinous crime right here. This is another robbery that occurred just the other night, and there were arrests compiled with it. So on Thursday the 27th, about 7:10 p.m. On New York Avenue, Huntington Station, complainant reports while riding his friend's e-bike, he was approached by a group of 4 to 5 Hispanic males. The suspects knocked him off the bike, punched and kicked him, and stole his gold necklace. One suspect was armed with a knife, and all claimed they were MS-13 gang members. Gang officers were on patrol that night. I talk all the time about how great our gang unit is. They were listening to the radio. They heard this go down. So they were on patrol that night, and they quickly responded to a location where they know a lot of these gang guys hang out. So while surveilling the location, they observed 2 males that matched the description of the suspects involved. They also observed an e-bike on the side of the location, so they put it all together. A show-up was conducted with the complainant, who identified the 2 suspects involved out of the 4 or 5, and both of the suspects were arrested and charged with robbery first degree. So another fantastic job by our gang anti-crime officers. Really good work by them. This is a drug arrest that occurred. I just threw this in there so you know our guys are out there doing some really good police work. So on Saturday the 1st, and during the evening hours, Eastfield Lane in Melville, anti-crime officers, they were responding to a tip from the public. A lot of times we get tips from the public on drug sales, certain houses, certain areas where they see a lot of activity coming and going. So they had a tip on this. So they were in the area. They conducted a traffic stop of a vehicle that they believed was involved in drug sales, and they discovered drugs and contraband in the vehicle. The operator of the vehicle was arrested and charged with possessing felony weight methamphetamine, $1,000 US currency, several cell phones, a scale, and a fake passport also. So they notified customs and immigration or whatever for the passport. This was a road rage incident that occurred on Sunday the 16th. about 2:20 p.m. This was the News 12 story. For those of you who watch the news, you probably saw this one. This thing happened down in Melville on Walt Whitman Road. Complainant reports while driving southbound, his vehicle was cut off by a dark-colored Tesla, which was driving aggressively. The Tesla stopped short in front of the complainant's vehicle, and 3 males jumped out and proceeded to punch, kick, and stomp on the complainant's vehicle. Did a substantial amount of damage to this person's vehicle. The suspects fled the scene in the Tesla. Another motorist was able to get the incident on his dash cam, so we were able to get the registration of the Tesla, which helped us out. And then the second squad detectives did a thorough investigation, and they wound up arresting the suspects involved, and they were charged with criminal mischief, second degree. So sometimes having a dash cam, even if you're not involved, is helpful. We always ask if people have video cams to keep them on, your house, everything else. Any kind of evidence that you, the public, community, can help us with, helps us do our job. So in this case, an uninvolved motorist, we got some good evidence from that to help us get this guy. So that was nice. There's a lot of this aggressive driving going on out there. I don't understand people. I wish everybody could just calm down and relax. We did a couple of search warrants last month in the precinct. This is 2 of them. On Thursday the 13th, narcotics detectives, along with our detectives, executed a search warrant on Tulip Street in Huntington. This is a location that we have received a lot of complaints about. One suspect was arrested and charged with 2 felony counts of drug possession. It was crack cocaine, 1 count of felony intent to sell. And then on Thursday the 27th, narcotics detectives, along with second squad detectives, executed a search warrant on Kilmer Drive in Dix Hills. A total of 8 suspects were arrested on various charges, including felony and misdemeanor drug charges, possession of drug paraphernalia, warrants, and parole violations. This is another location that we've had some issues with. You'll see this again. Burglary, Thursday, the 6th of February, 3:35 a.m., 1761 New York Avenue. Complainant reports she has a video of a male suspect breaking through the front door of her business and stealing 15 smartphones. The suspect fled on foot with the value of the phones about $7,500. So I think it's a phone store right there on New York Avenue by Checkers. I don't know if you're familiar. There was another burglary on Saturday the 8th, about 3:38 a.m. Again, up right around in that location again. Complainant reports hearing glass break and looking at her second-story window. She lives right above the pharmacy there. And she observed the male suspect wearing a blue jacket, black pants, and a black ski mask right away from the scene on an orange bicycle. We don't know if anything was taken at the time. I think what happened is she heard it, she looked out the window and spooked the guy, so he took off before he could grab anything out of the pharmacy. But pretty good description. Hopefully we'll be able to put something together on this one. This was an assault arrest. This occurred at Huntington Hospital on Wednesday the 12th, right in the afternoon. There was a patient being treated, an unruly patient, and this female patient punched a nurse's assistant in the face, causing an eye injury. And when another nurse's assistant went over to assist also, she hit her in the head with a can of soda and caused an injury to the second nurse's assistant. The suspect was arrested and charged with 2 counts of felony assault. So if you assault somebody who works in a hospital or like an ambulance worker, it's automatically a felony if you suffer an injury. But I put this up there because sometimes, you know, these nurses that work at these hospital emergency rooms are underappreciated. And, you know, some of the things they go through with dealing with some of these patients who are, you know, maybe not all there, I give them a lot of credit. It's a tough job that they have. So, you know, if you're in the hospital, just thank them for what they do because it's not an easy job that they have. And you see every once in a while we'll get an assault on a nurse. Yes?
In a situation like this, the security team at the hospital, do they have, like, are they able to intervene to kind of subdue?
I would say yes, yeah. I think that's what their job is, Ken. It's just, they'll hold them until we get there and then we'll take care of it. But, you know, this stuff it's very spontaneous. And I think this person, obviously may have some mental issues too, so, but I mean, these poor women were just trying to help her, and they, for their, for the good caring, they got punched in the face and hit over the head. Weapons possession arrest. Sunday the 2nd, 8:51 p.m., New York Avenue, Huntington Station. Patrol officers stopped a white commercial van for driving with an expired registration. During the investigation, it was discovered that the van was filled with bags of clothing, consistent with thefts from the clothing bins that we all put clothes into. After arresting the occupants of the van and upon a more detailed search of the van, felony weight drugs, cocaine, and a loaded 9mm handgun were discovered inside the van. One suspect admitted to possession of the drugs and the gun. The other occupants were also charged with minor criminal charges. So there's been a theft ring going around, going into these clothing bins that you see, all these donation bins. And I guess that's like a lucrative business for these people. They steal the clothes, and then I guess they sell them to the secondhand stores or something like that. So there was a rash of these going on. These officers on patrol at night were on the lookout for this. They saw this van, thought it was suspicious, and that's the rest of the story. So good police work by those officers out there on patrol, just being alert, and they wound up coming up with a gun. I believe that's the gun. And here's another one, weapons possession arrest. Wednesday the 5th, around almost 6:55 a.m., Seaman Neck Road in Dix Hills. Patrol units were dispatched to a call of a male, possibly armed with a gun, holding 2 female sex workers against their will at the location. This was called in by another female who happened to be right near the location. So I don't know how she had this information, but she called it in. So our officers responded. They entered the residence, and they wound up recovering a loaded firearm, a shotgun, a quantity of crack cocaine that was in plain view in the residence. A total of 6 males were located in the residence, but no females were located inside. Two suspects were charged with weapons possession, and a third was charged for drug possession. So maybe they were there earlier and called her for help, I don't know, but when the officers responded, that's what they responded to, people being held against their will. So they were able to go into the house, and inadvertently we wound up discovering all this. A picture of the gun, pistol recovered, and shotgun recovered. So nice work by those responding officers. I think they did notify human trafficking also on this one because of the allegation that maybe people were being held against their will in the sex trade business. Hit a couple of massage parlors in February. You know, we hit these all the time in response to the community complaints. You take a look at it. On the 4th of February, we went over to, what is it, Jericho Foot Spa, located at 1152 East Jericho. 2 female employees were arrested and charged with unauthorized practice of a profession and prostitution misdemeanor. One's a felony, one's a misdemeanor. Town of Huntington issued 11 violations in that one, and they're looking into the business a little further. And then again on Monday the 10th, we hit another place, which is just a foot spa located at 340D West Jericho Turnpike in Huntington. Again, 2 females arrested, same charges, felony, misdemeanor, and the town issued other violations to the business, and they're looking into these businesses. These places are all over. We get complaints. We respond to them as best we can. You know, usually one a month or something like that. We try to put them out of business. Compliance checks. So this is when we check the vape shops and the tobacco shops. We go around. And on February the 19th, in response to community complaints, our PCS officers, they went out with some underage police agents. They send these kids in that are under 18 to buy tobacco. A total of 22 vape shops were checked, with 18 of them were in compliance, which is actually good, but 4 were not, and they were in violation of the law for selling to minors. And these are the locations: the Huntington Mart at 278 East Jericho Turnpike in Huntington Station, JoJo Convenience, 212 Depot Road, Huntington Station. 116 Market, 116 East 11th Street, Huntington Station. And then the Higher Smoke Shop, 266 Jericho Turnpike in East Northport. All the violators were charged with unlawfully dealing with a child, 2nd degree. That's a misdemeanor. Okay, last time I was here, somebody raised their hand about dirt bikes. Is that person here again or no? All right. I was hoping to get a smile on her face. But so we get these complaints all the time. You know, these kids riding these dirt bikes all through the neighborhoods, doing wheelies, every crazy thing, ATVs, this, that. 2 of our officers, they're not here today, but they tracked this person down on February the 12th, about 8:45 in the morning. They observed this guy riding his dirt bike on New York Avenue, which is illegal. And then the officers followed the bike, and then the guy was doing wheelies on the side streets and the roadways. They were able to stop him, believe it or not. They were able to get him to pull over and stop. And they issued him several violations, and they impounded the bike. So we do care. I know it's a big problem, you know, especially when it warms up, but even now they're doing it. So we're out there. If we can catch them, we catch them, and we take their, no problem, and we take their, the motorcycle or their ATV. Go ahead.
Did they follow him in a marked squad car, or was it on?
Those guys are marked. No, they're marked in that car. So, I mean, maybe a kid got spooked. I think he was a young kid, you know, so juvenile, whatever, 16 or something like that. So, anyway, we got one. We get them every once in a while. This is the site team. The site team is the highway patrol officers from the police department, and they come into the precinct on occasion to help us with traffic enforcement. They're a great resource for us, and the sergeant's a great guy. So when everybody who complains about their locations in their neighborhoods that need to be addressed, I usually give that information to them. And they come out, and they're no nonsense, you know. They write a lot of moving violations. So they come into the precinct a couple of times a month. In February, they were in the precinct on the 6th and the 19th. They wrote a total of 55 summonses, including 49 moving violations, and then 6 non-moving violations. The following locations were where they targeted: and 495 northbound Service Road, Jericho Turnpike, Beaumont Drive, Bagatelle Road, Round Swamp Road, and Depot Road. So this month they only here twice. A lot of times they're 3 or 4 times. So I don't know what was going on in February, but I can't thank that sergeant enough. That those guys are great for us, and it helps us out a lot. Okay, so no fatal accidents for February. There was an accident with serious injury, and then just the other day we had another one that'll be on next month. But somebody on a scooter got hit by a car. You probably saw all the streets were closed. Was it New York Avenue, I think, right? And
East 13.
so yeah. So anyway, no fatal accidents, but we did have a couple of serious injury accidents. Yes.
I'd like to ask a ruling on those scooters. It's tragic, of course. We're seeing more and more of those scooter types
Yeah.
on New York Avenue. They weave in and out, they do the sidewalks. What is the ruling on a motorized scooter at speed? Do they have to obey the traffic rules like?
I believe so. I don't even think they're legal on the main roads. I think they can only be ridden maybe on the side streets. They're not registered. They're not, you know, it's like an electric bicycle. It's
very dangerous because they leave in and out all the time. And it's something I know. I see more and more
Yeah.
of it every passing week. There's a lot of them around now.
They need to come up with some stricter laws on those. I can tell you that, because it's kind of a gray area, and everybody's got these scooters
Yeah,
now.
they're getting faster and faster every year.
A lot of times you'll see people no helmets. They ride around no helmets on. It's you're risking your life, really. Okay, we'll talk about arrests in February. We had 38 felony arrests, 114 misdemeanor arrests, 7 were assault-related, gang-related arrests. There were 7 gang members arrested, 2 MS-13 members arrested for robbery, 3 Bloods for warrants, drugs, DUI drugs, resisting, 1 Latin King, warrants, drugs, and assault, 1 Tip Top Boys, resisting, and there were 24 other arrests by our anti-crime gang unit besides just the gang members. And then drug-related arrests, there were 29, And DWI arrest 15 for February. The total was about 145. Domestic incidents and overdoses in February in the precinct. We responded to about 150 domestic incidents in February, and 52 were criminal. 17 resulted in arrests. Doesn't mean there won't be more arrests. Some of them might be pending the investigation, still gathering evidence, getting statements, whatever, but the ones I could find were 17 arrests out of the 52 criminal ones. And then in overdoses, we had 5 non-fatal overdoses. In East Northport, there were 2. Huntington, there was 1. And Huntington Station, there were 2. No fatal overdoses, so that's good news. Shot Spotter, for those of you who don't know what Shot Spotter is, it's a tool that we have to detect gunshots. And they put acoustical receptors throughout Huntington Station. And if they pick up the sound of what they believe is a gunshot, we get notified, we get an alert on the computer, and it gives us a precise location of where that possible gunshot came from. So we have this tool called Shot Spotter. And anyway, we had a couple of activations in February, but as you see, the negative results to the very right means the officers responded. They didn't find any shell casings. They didn't find any victims. So it could have been a backfire of a car, fireworks, something like that. Those are locations, Depot Road and Huntington Station, and Oakwood Road and Huntington Station on the 1st and the 4th of February. So just 2, that's not too bad. Some months we don't get any. Other months, like July, when there's 5, we got a ton of them. So I just like to keep you up to date on that, so you know we were out there checking. Again, reminders, all important things. There's a lot of theft out there. There's a lot of theft in the parking lots, stores. Just be aware of your surroundings. When you come out of the store and you've been shopping, sometimes people, some women sometimes will leave their pocketbook in the cart and, you know, put the groceries in the car and not really pay attention, and all of a sudden turn around and the pocketbook's gone. So there is quite a bit of theft, but if you're aware of your surroundings, you can pretty much, you know, circumvent it. But all of these things up there, very important. If you have video cameras, like I said, the guy had the dash cam, helped us catch somebody. If you have cameras on your house, sometimes that could help us catch people. So if you set them to record at night, during the day, all day, it's great. And lock your doors. That's such a simple, you know, such a simple task. And most people just leave their car doors open and their houses open. It's not like years ago where you could leave the front door open. So just lock your doors. Gift cards, these are all scams. The scams are forever increasing, and it's a lot of them relate to buy me gift cards and give me the numbers. If someone's asking you to do that, it's a scam. If they're calling you and telling you a relative was arrested and you need bail money, that's a scam. They can spoof the police department numbers, state police, Suffolk police, Nassau police. It looks like that's who's calling you, but they have this app or something that changes it, makes it look like that. So don't get scammed by the, you know, your nephew's in jail and you need bail money. It's all a scam. And I see more and more of these scams coming up. A lot of them come up on the computer. Some of them are, we're from Chase Bank and we noticed a fraud in your account. Please, and they give you the number in that link. Don't call that number. Look up Chase Bank, you know, on your card or whatever, and call that number and say, hey, are you on the phone with me? Like, so you just called me saying there's fraud, and they'll be like, no, we didn't call you. But a lot of people fall for this, and I've seen people, hundreds of thousands of dollars, they go and they convince them through all their nonsense, and this guy's on, they get another guy on the phone and say, send us Vel or whatever, the Zelle, and all these apps, you know, where you can send money, and people get scammed out of so much money. So just be aware when things pop up on your computer. And I've been getting one on my phone telling me that I owe toll money or something. Yeah. So yeah, everybody's getting that one. That one's like, that's the newest scam. So I mean, we all pretty much have Easy Pass, right? But you know, I mean, you know when you used your Easy Pass, and so whatever. Anyway, That's the new one, another new one. There's so many different ones. I read them all the time. I try to talk about some of them, so if I could just stop one person from getting scammed, I'd be happy. You got something?
And don't, when you Google someone's, like a company's phone number to confirm whether or not they're real,
Yeah.
at the very top, the scammers pay for sponsored ads on Google to
Right,
put
I've seen
their
that.
phone number with the company's logo.
Yeah.
So if it says sponsored, don't go to that one, scroll down until you find a URL that really is that company.
Yeah.
And click on that.
Exactly. Yep. That's why I said look on your bank card or something. That's usually the right number. I'd say get out the phone book, but I'm really dating myself. We don't even get the phone book right anymore. All right, moving on. A couple of things coming up. So here's one, free healthy relationship seminar for women. When is this? The Wednesday, March 12th. I believe it's at the Assembly of God Church. That's Pastor Dan's church. Wednesday, March 12th, 12 to 2. Ladies, will you be there?
Yes.
All right.
Do you
So,
have to register for that?
do you have to register?
No, just show up.
Just show up. All right, so that's nice if you want to take a photo of that. Your well-being is our priority. Nice. Love should not hurt. Well, I agree with that. All right, and then we have it also in Spanish for anybody that needs it in Spanish. Give you a second. And we're doing Coffee with a Cop. This one's at Lockfield Road at the 7-Eleven. I believe that's at the corner of Clay Pits. Is that the one at the corner of Clay Pits? Well, 501 Lockfield Road. We had it there once before, I believe, on March 26th, 10 to 11:30. So if you really want to get to know the new deputy inspector, come on down. He'll be down there. Have a cup of coffee with him. I'm sure he'd be happy to see you. Bunny and Crafts with a Cop. Nice. At the mall. Bring the little ones down. March 27, 3 to 5. That should be fun for the kids, you know, when they do the pizza with a cop. The kids have a ball, so grandkids, whatever, your own kids, bring them down. Be good. You got to bring it. What do we need for this one? Just show up. Just show up. Girls, they do a great job. You just got to show up. Yeah, forget it with the price of eggs. I don't want to get into that. And the St. Patrick's Day Parade. Is that this Sunday? This Sunday, right? Yeah, so I'll see you all down there. Come on down and celebrate St. Patrick's Day. Is that Steve Stern? Who is
Keith
it?
Brown.
Oh, yeah, yes. Okay, Keith Brown, yes. Keith Brown is the Grand Marshal. So say hello to Keith and march with him. And I'm sure our pipe band will be playing. They're always a pleasure to listen to. I mean, they're great, those guys, and probably many other bands. So it's usually a pretty festive day down there, a lot of people. They deal with the traffic, but it's a good day. Anyway, we'll be all over the place. And, okay, so let me just say, this could be tentative, this date. I might change this to the following week. So don't go by there. We'll post if we're going to change that. I might have a conflict for that date. So we may try to do. No, I know. I saw the April Fools. I go, we're going to have some kind of joke. I'm going to have to come up with a joke, right? So, but yeah, I know. As soon as I saw that, I got, oh, here we go. But yeah, and I think that's it. I think let's, anything else? No, that's it. And that's our contacts. So questions, I can field some questions now. If anyone has anything for me? Complaints, questions? Yes, sir.
So the Broadway deli scenario, how old were the two, the victim and the assailant? How old were they?
Oh, so, okay, well, you know, we only had a description on the assailant, but I'm thinking, you know, like older, 30, 40 range, not a kid. And then the victim in that case was also probably in his 30s, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Next. Kenny.
The ladies in that Seaman Neck Road incident, were they hurt?
The trafficking thing?
Yeah, the ladies that were in the.
Well, we never found them, that was the problem. They supposedly were there, earlier, I think. And that's how that call came over. I'm thinking that they were there, and they reached out to this third female who wound up calling us, and she was like kind of parked around the corner.
Okay.
So, do you have more info on that? Or? Oh, okay. So, yeah, and then they never found them inside, so maybe they were there through the night. It's one of these houses where there's a lot of different guys living in a lot of different rooms. So, I wouldn't doubt that maybe they had people there. But yeah, unfortunately, well, actually it was fortunate that they weren't there, but they may have been being held against their will at some point during that night, so. It was a real good job because when the cop went there, the guy's like, you can't come inside here, and he said, oh, yes, I can. And we wound up getting in the house, so it was good. I mean,
And
you know,
if those victims happen to be watching this, and
Yeah.
they in fact were held against their will,
Yeah.
can they make a report?
well, I'd love them to reach out to us and, you
How?
know, come down. Well, you could call the precinct, call 911, however you want to come down and get in contact with us. Human trafficking, I'm sure they have their own number if they would like to reach out that way. We're always willing to help anybody who wants it, and if they're in that, you know, kind of business, human trafficking would be the best one to call, but just go to the precinct and we'll get them in touch with them. It's not a problem. Yes, sir.
Two quick things. Catalytic converters, there was
Oh, yeah.
an increase in thefts along, you know, a period of time. Is that lessened?
Yes, so I'm glad you brought that up. We haven't had a lot. So what happened was there was a rash of them last year, a lot of them. And they were hitting certain towns. East Northport, Elwood was kind of a hot spot in this precinct and Station, Huntington Station. But a lot on the South Shore, and they were getting a lot of them. And I'd see the reports every day, every day, every day. Now I get it's like a weekly report, and the catalytic converters stolen, zero in a lot. So I'd say it's gone down probably 90% than what was occurring. And what had happened, it was a big investigation, and they wound up tying it back to a couple of different groups, and I think it went into New Jersey, so it was different police departments were involved in this, and they took down these guys that were hitting it hard. And right now, it's been, you know, it's been almost non-existent. So every once in a while,
Unfortunately, it happened to my neighbor.
Yeah.
When the detectives came and talked to him, they said the best thing he did was not go outside and approach them, because
Right.
chances are they were armed and it wouldn't have turned out.
yes, they are armed, just so you're aware of that. There have been incidences where people have confronted them, and they pulled a gun or a knife or something. But, you know, when I saw one where the guy actually was armed with a gun, you know, just get on the phone as soon as you can and get us down there if we can get down there. I mean, it's tough. It's nighttime. The neighborhoods are so vast. The chance that, you know, that's how we catch them, though. A homeowner hears something, or maybe the guy's getting up really early to go to work in the city. They hit that kind of hours, like 3, 4 in the morning. They hit real late. So, and
That's exactly
but
what happened.
luckily, and you know, thanks to great investigators and all this, they had really suppressed the catalytic
Human
converters.
reaction is to respond. but
Oh, of course.
The moral of the
Yeah.
story is, that's not
You,
the best thing to do.
you could get seriously hurt, yeah, because a lot of them aren't from around here. I'll tell you, they're coming from like New York City, Bronx, Queens, stuff like that, even New Jersey. So it was like a ring, and they busted the ring, and it's been pretty good lately. Go
The
ahead.
second thing is you mentioned about the pocketbooks and cars.
Yeah.
We all get lazy with the key fobs.
Oh,
A
yeah.
lot of times we unlock the car, we throw the fob in the car on the console or what have you. So we're making it easy for that person to take the car. And that's
100
Or so we're
yeah.
out doing other things and the fob's in the car and the car's ready to go.
100%. Some of those, when I do this crime stats and you see the vehicle thefts, I'd say half of them, the keys are in the car. And actually, some of those are really unauthorized use of a car, where somebody took someone's car without permission, and then they made a report, and it comes across as a stolen vehicle in the stats to, and we wind up getting it back. So it's a stolen car, but it's not a stolen car. So don't let those numbers get you crazy. There are some things, but a lot of times, the key, people leave their key fobs in the car, and it's just so easy. And I heard that, like on some cars, if the mirrors are in or something, that means the key fob is in there. So it's like, oh, the mirrors are in, the keys are in there. The guy jumps and pushes the button, and he's gone. So yeah, it's a great advice, and that's why I always say lock the cars. It seems so simple, but something as you know, as easy as that can help us prevent some kind of crimes. Bob, nothing?
In fact, I just want to say thank you
Ah.
to you and the second precinct, okay?
Okay.
Hope units. Everybody
Yes.
has been coming up to CVS on
Good.
Depot Road and Huntington Station.
Okay.
I appreciate everything that you guys are doing.
Okay.
But we need to do more because it's starting all over again.
Yeah.
We're starting to get more and more people, and now we're having another problem with Community Market.
Okay.
Which is right across the street, 108 Depot Road.
Got
All
it.
right, that's another hellhole. They go from one to the other. And it's a constant heating ground over there with all the bushes. You know, I got little grandkids and all, and I'm tired of it. I
It's
really
terrible.
am.
Right, I
You know,
understand.
You call the second precinct, I understand. You could only do so much. You don't see a person urinating, they can't do anything.
Yeah.
All right? I'd just like to say on my behalf that I want to thank you so much, and I really hope that we're going to be doing more this summer. Last year was,
Bad.
it was
Yeah.
a hell show, it really was.
Okay.
It was awful.
Yes.
One other problem that we're having is the tractor trailers and the trucks coming up and down East 8th Street. All
Yeah.
right? It is not called for. There's signs all over the place because they're too lazy to make a right-hand turn and go up to Depot Road. I drove for 50 years. I drove trailers and all. There's no need for it. There really isn't. You can make the right-hand turn, go right up the hill and go out. My daughter almost she pulled out of our driveway the other day. She almost got creamed by this trailer. She was behind, like a car and a half behind. All of a sudden, this guy decides to back up. You're backing up on a residential street in a tractor trailer.
Yeah, you
know.
probably can't see anything.
You know, I don't know if it's any way possible to get DOT up there on certain days. These
Yeah.
trucks, they're in violations like you have
Is it,
no idea.
is it during the day or is it early in the morning? When is the time?
Some are, they start like 6 in the morning. They're there from 6 in the morning to about maybe 11 in the afternoon. Or 11 in the morning.
Yeah,
And some a little bit later.
DOT, maybe that's an
So it's
option.
Tuesday, Thursdays, and Fridays.
Okay, yeah,
Those
maybe,
are the
maybe
major
I'll see if I
days.
could get the motor carrier safety guys up there. They can take a look at that. They might be in violation of a lot of things with those commercial vehicles, so.
Like
But,
I say, there's a lot of guys that are backing up. I know they're in violation. They can't even get the truck to stay on top of that little incline there. All right?
Okay.
By law, you're supposed to have it blocked, your tires. They don't, and all of a sudden you see it start to roll. I know one of them, unfortunately, I know it's gonna happen. And I just hope that I'm not there when it does.
Okay. I got the word out to the lieutenants, so I was talking to all the lieutenants about trying to CVS, keeping an eye on it, so we should be over there a lot.
And thank you. I'm trying to get
problem.
the supervisor to come here, but I couldn't reach him this morning, so.
Yeah,
I'm
well-
sure he'll have a couple things to say also.
I think they're filming a movie or something down in the village, so maybe.
Spielberg.
Yes, yeah. Anybody know anything more about that, or just that's the movie?
It's
huh?
a wrestling movie. And
Oh, in the
they're-
Paramount? They're using the
filming
Paramount?
in and around it looks like the Paramount.
So
and
like
the village.
wrestling, like the professional wrestling thing?
That's
or-
all we know.
In-
It's a
interesting,
wrestling
interesting.
movie.
Yeah, I got a call from him yesterday because he was, they're shutting a lot of parking down and stuff like that. And we have offices down there, so. Good
Yeah,
for the town of Huntington, right?
very
You have
good.
the
They're also
movies.
going to be using the commuter parking lot at the railroad, at the train
Oh,
station. In the
okay.
station, they may be staging some there,
Okay,
with their
great.
equipment.
All right. Any other question? Yes, go ahead.
Might as well ask, any work or relationship with ICE?
ICE, yeah. So, I mean, I spoke at the last meeting about it. We don't work with ICE, just so you know.
Basically,
They have come into the precinct once or twice. They usually give us a heads up just to let us know that they're working there, but we're not assisting them in any way with these deportations. We don't get involved in that. That's our policy. We're hands off, okay? They can come in and do their thing. We're not going to interfere with them. And the only time we're really going to be helping them is if there's a breach of the peace where maybe they're getting attacked by people or bottles. So we will assist them in that way where, if it's like an officer needs assistance, call. But other than that, I'm not involved with any of that.
but they've been in the area?
They've been twice that I know of. They could have been here more, but they usually They usually give us a heads up, you know, courtesy call, just because they don't want like a blue-on-blue situation, which means like one cop sees another cop and they don't know each other, and, you know, the guy sees a guy with a gun. I mean, they pretty much wear identical clothing, so you kind of know that they're law enforcement. But every once in a while, you know, you might see a guy that doesn't have something that stands out. And so that's why they usually call us, so we don't have any kind of confrontation. But yeah, we're not involved with any of that. We've built relationships with the community over a long, long time, and we want to keep that relationship with the community. So we don't want the community to be afraid of the Suffolk County Police. So that's kind of the whole reasoning by it, and it's not our thing. So don't panic, we're not grabbing anybody. That's the federal government.
Just one other thing.
Sure.
I was very happy the other day, one of your cars pulled a speeder over on
Right
the
on.
street, which is like a super highway.
Okay,
So happy
great.
to see
Oh, okay, good. I give the credit out to the guys in the back, and I have some real good enforcement officers, and they go out there, and you know, I was looking at our summons numbers already for the year. We're up a little bit, which makes me happy, and then, you know, those guys make me look good, so I give the credit to them.
Those other streets, they're just, it's a super highway, that's just,
Are you or you? Which one are you? Oh, okay, yeah, that's a regular spot they hit. Yeah, I know, that's a pretty nice windy road. People, they get on it a little, right? Yeah, it's a couple of stop signs too, right? They go right through them? Yeah, I know. Well, they're down there. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I live in Huntington Village, and I've been passed by, we've been waiting at the light, the corner of Wall Street and New York Avenue, and Main Street, any number of times, and there's somebody in a black muscle car, I don't know what it is. An
Oh.
old muscle car, who comes around from back, and as soon as the light turns green, it passes everybody who's waiting at the green light, and cuts us all off.
Wow.
And it's happened any number of times over the past couple of years.
What time?
Uh,
All hours?
All hours.
Oh.
And
Okay.
also, I saw somebody cut, I don't remember if it was me, but this was a couple months ago, on the Long Island Expressway, I was getting off a ramp, and somebody came off and cut everybody off on the ramp. And
Oh,
came
yeah.
from like over the grass, and cut everybody off on the ramp. There's just craziness.
There is a lot of craziness out there, I must agree, and, you know, if we see it, we can, you know, do something about it, but
They get past us too fast to even see the license plates or for anybody to even know what's going on.
I've had it happen to me, you know, they come right by you on the highway, and they scare you, shoot, go right by, it's like they're doing 100 miles an hour, it's crazy, right? No, I understand. Anybody else? What do you got?
And just to go back with the key fobs,
Oh, yeah, the key fobs, I know.
I'm gonna bring it up and get booed. Why aren't they writing the summons?
Yeah.
Guy that leaves the key in the fob in the car for violation of law.
Yeah.
Teach them a lesson.
Yeah, no, I
It's
know.
only, you know, it's endangering everybody here, including
A lot of
most
times,
other people.
it's after the fact kind of thing, you know, like,
So what? Let them go to court and cry to the judge. You know, let the judge hear 'em. It's like, I don't know if you saw it in the city, they had the woman with the car parked at the fire hydrant. They just hit her with a $4,000 fine.
well, I didn't see that, no.
They had a fire and they had to get.
Oh, wow.
And
they
the
used to-
second, and a question.
The-
Any word on Gallagher? How's he doing? Newsday hasn't put anything in the paper.
Recovering, as far as I know, I haven't had an update. You guys had an update on him? No. No, he's not back to work, you know, I'm sure it's gonna be a while. But I haven't, no, I haven't had a recent update. I could find out.
It's just nice if Newsday would just put a little blurb in it. You know,
Yeah, I'll find out before the next meeting, I'll inquire, see how, you know, how he's progressing. I haven't heard anything bad, so I'm assuming he's doing okay. Thank you for asking, that's good. Yes?
In the problematic areas with speed, are there any other alternatives? Obviously, you guys can't be everywhere all the time. You know, more of the traffic
Cameras.
radar signs, or maybe the
Yeah.
auxiliary car being parked there. You know, human reaction is when you see something like that, you slow down.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's good for a period of time, and then everybody gets used to it, but at least it helps somewhat. So you guys, I mean, obviously Huntington's a big area. Is
Yeah.
there any other alternatives that could help, like Broadway Green on here is a nice shot.
I heard they wanted to get more of those speed signs that we have, you know, the ones we put out on, like, so you'll see it on some of the main roads, like Pulaski Road, and where we get a lot of these speedings, and, you know, it shows you your speed going through. But those ones we have are kind of old and antiquated. I heard that was an idea that came up in a meeting that when we were talking about traffic, that they were gonna try and get ones that were a little more economical and maybe a little smaller, but, and get more of them where you can deploy them. There's probably a company that makes them now, they're probably half the price, and you don't have to trailer it with a, you know, you actually have to trailer that sign.
And get the ones that flash, like it's taking a picture,
Yeah,
even if
yeah.
it's not.
Oh, that's-
Then it makes people wonder.
That'll do it, yeah.
When it just blinks,
I do like the school bus thing now with the cameras. I gotta be honest with you, years ago, you know, you'd see people blown by school buses, which is so dangerous. And now that the school buses take the picture, you see a lot less of that. So it is a deterrent. So, but yeah, that's not a bad idea. Go ahead.
To help the gentleman here to add, here's where like the town of Huntington, and then they do like a whole study about the area, maybe it's a stop sign they want to put in, maybe, they're not crazy about these speed bumps, you know, because they can't be seen sometimes, but.
Yeah.
I
speed
would-
tables, yeah.
Yeah,
I would
no, I
reach
know.
out to the town of Huntington, you know.
So
for some good-
here's, and I know you know this, but I'm just gonna throw it out there.
I mean,
One of the problems is they come in with these car counts, and they look at the volume of traffic on the road during a given period of time. So you get the ones that go through at 60 miles an hour, but then you get the ones that go through at average speed,
Yeah.
and then it's all average.
It's average then, yeah.
And they say,
Yeah,
well,
makes
you know,
sense.
Greenland isn't so bad because the
Yeah.
average speed is only 35.
Right.
But yet, during that time frame, there's
Yeah.
a bunch of cars going through at a really high rate of speed. So I think at
Those are the
end of
ones
day-
we'd like to get, you know,
Yeah.
those
At the end of
are
the
the
day,
ones.
everybody's worried about pedestrian and public safety.
Sure,
So, you know, anything that can happen is a step in the right direction.
yeah. There's a lot of new technology out there. We'll see what happens. I don't know, you know, if they think about maybe cameras for speeding, I don't know. So, but, you
So
know,
we've-
that's all legislative stuff.
Here's our traffic safety guru.
Okay.
I know I think so, but we've talked about the speed tables, not the speed bumps, but the speed tables, which is a less aggressive, but it makes you slow down.
Right.
And unfortunately, you know, if it's not in compliance with the MUTCD and truck traffic and everything else, it's not, you know, it's not something that they even
Can't
consider.
do it, yeah. Yeah, the town looks into most of that. I mean, we'll go out and do enforcement, but a lot of that stuff. Potholes, yeah, well, that's always this time of year, you know. Hopefully, we're almost through that. All right, can we wrap up?
This may be dated, but at one time I recall that 4 sectors met in Greenlawn, 4 police sectors. Is that
Okay.
still the case? Like the
4?
boundaries of the sector division, I'm not sure now, this is old information I'm working with, but that the sectors were defined such that 4 of them met in Greenlawn.
Do we have, I don't know, is there 4? You guys know, Sarge, you know? 4 sectors in Greenlawn? We got 21, 10? Yeah.
So those 4 sectors are, their boundary is in Greenlawn, their edges,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So sometimes people feel since we're at the edge of that, we get less coverage because you think the other guy's covering it, or, again, I'm dated information here, but since there's 4 sectors and they meet in Greenlawn, you know, it's a pretty wide sector. And people
Sure.
are in the far east or the far west, and they're not in this, you know.
Well, then they have another adjoining car too, so you're not really losing anything there. Even if they're on the outskirts of Greenlawn, the next Huntington car or East Northborough car picks up right there. So a lot of times they overlap. You get,
Right.
you know,
And
they don't just stay in Greenlawn. I mean,
No, I know that.
you know, they kind of,
21 and 10 more South Greenlawn than Greenlawn itself,
Yes,
right?
21.
15 is Greenlawn, and 4 is more Centerport or North.
oh, I think you were just talking about coverage, right?
Right.
Coverage, yeah, no, I was just talking about coverage.
Because it just seems like, you know, it's easy for the sector cars when they are on a break or on something to say, you know, away from the Greenlawn Center, and we'd like them here more often. At one time, I think the cars, they used to change shifts. They used to park, I think, in the fire department lot. Or,
That's one of the relief points there, yeah.
Excuse me?
Yes, that's one of the places they relieve, yes.
Do they still do that today?
Yeah, they go to the firehouse there, yes, that's one of them.
Right.
15, but 10 and 21 are more down south, so they might.
Yeah,
go
I
to
think
the
21's at the precinct, right? Do they still relieve at the precinct? It's been a long time since I was, out there.
Well, they might be at the south house, on Wilkins Road.
And just, I understand there's some communities now that are putting in license plate readers to identify stolen cars.
There are some, I know there are other police departments that use it. We have them on all our cars, so yes, and we do have some deployed throughout the precinct.
And any permanently mounted in anywhere in Second Precinct?
I believe we do, yes, I believe we do.
And what's involved in getting one of those?
Funding?
Funding or,
Yeah, I believe funding.
Approval,
Yeah. We usually put them where we feel, we might need them as far as some crime statistics and stuff like that.
So it's a decision made by the police department where to locate
Could
those?
be, if they come to me, I say, hey, I need a plate reader over here maybe a certain crime that's occurring or something like that. But yeah,
So you view those more as temporary installations then?
yes.
So, get in touch with your assemblyman or woman. I think we're all men. Town of Huntington.
Assembly
The
person.
New York State Assembly can secure public safety funding that is earmarked for this purpose, and then the money will go to Suffolk County. And then, basically, once it's in Suffolk County, it can then be distributed to each precinct, but then they would be already knowing, because of the assembly person, it would be in their district. Do you know what I'm saying? So you speak to the assembly person in this district, and they can advocate for funds for permanent installation. That's how, Brentwood?
They have them there?
Yeah, they have,
Sure
but they
they-
also, the other challenge we have is in Brentwood, there's a one in, one out.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Like there's, the way their streets are, there's like major thoroughfares where they can really get you with just like 4 of them. And they get like 90% of the traffic that's going into the area. So in the town of Huntington, it's more complicated because we don't have that. But it would be fruitful.
Major thoroughfares. like
Yeah,
Jericho-
thank you.
Jericho,
Yeah.
Walk Avenue,
Yeah,
something
exactly.
like that. A lot of volume of cars. usually-
Exactly,
A
exactly.
related question, I understand, I think one instance of a speed camera now in our area takes pictures of cars that are speeding. Are you familiar with that?
I don't think there are any speed cameras as far as I know. Where do you live?
I live here in Greenlawn.
Yeah, no, I don't think we have any speed cameras out there. I think they've been talking about
And what's your
maybe
opinion and thought on something like that?
speed camera. Anything that'll slow people down, I'm all for it, I mean, like this gentleman said, we can't be everywhere, and, we do the best we can with the officers we have. But like certain roads where speeding is always a problem, that's probably a great idea, but, that's all legislative stuff, I said. They'd have to pass the law, like, they just got rid of the red light cameras. Now, are they gonna bring in speed cameras? I mean, it's something that has to be discussed, with the lawmakers, really. But, works for me,
It's a double-edged sword. We
Yeah.
worry about privacy, but we worry about.
Right,
public safety.
yeah. I mean, when the red light cameras came out, everybody seemed to be on board, it was great, and then people started getting tickets, and then they weren't so great, so, I mean, but speeding is a problem. It's a problem, it seems to be getting worse, so could be something they might want to look into. I'm not opposed to it, but I'm just the inspector here. All right, what do you got?
One last thing, to the DI, welcome. And I hope you come to love this precinct, because we're very dynamic here.
Everyone raised about the people that working in the precinct and the community group, so I'm looking forward to it, I really am.
And he's not making that up, Kenny, because when we were talking yesterday, when I first met him, he said, I heard so many good things about this precinct. Second, the cops, the community, so he's on it.
A lot of members of internal affairs that just came from the second precinct, a lot of the investigators, so they raved about it. They said,
Excellent.
I was very fortunate to come here, so.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Now, can you do more push-ups than housework? I'm sorry, I had to.
Thanks for coming, everybody. Stay tuned on that date for the next meeting, all right? Thanks.